Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new dragging video. Oh my god, you guys, I filmed this dragging video and then there was like a technical problem with the video, like with the clips, so I've had to refilm it again. Nightmare. I really hope you liked today's episode. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe and sign up for the newsletter. Let's start off here at the Louis Vuitton boutique in Sandton in Johannesburg, South Africa. Definitely not friendly to tourists unless you're purchasing valuable products. I'm looking for a winter beanie for my trip. The SA lost his patience when I gave him my old phone number, which wasn't showing on the system anymore. Um, as a luxury branded customer, sorry, for over 20 years. This is the first time I've been treated badly. It's not worth spending your time in this slow queue. Honestly, you guys, I think people would be surprised how busy this store is. If you are a tourist and new to Africa and to the African continent and to the 54 countries in Africa, don't come with preconceptions. This person probably thought, this is a Louis Vuitton boutique in Johannesburg. They're like, like no one's checking for this store. Let me stop you right there. This boutique is very, very busy. They're not worried about selling a beanie. Trust me. And they'll be like, ugh, you only come here to buy a small purchase. That's kind of the vibe that the essays at the Louis Vuitton Johannesburg store definitely give aloof. They definitely give like, you're not spending a lot of money. I don't care. Same location. The store manager at the Sandton Louis Vuitton store in Johannesburg, South Africa, and a bunch of other essays need to be sacked. If the founder of this was this uncivilized, he probably wouldn't have been one of the world's most successful businessmen. Saying that the store manager is rude is an understatement. I'm currently visiting South Africa from St. Louis, Missouri, USA, and I needed to quickly refill my perfume. I was kept standing for over an hour when the people in the queue, asked why we're not being helped. The manager stormed away in anger with no apologies and told us we can get out. I called the customer service in France immediately, where the customer service representative apologized and said necessary action would be taken. A few things. It is uncomfortable for me to read someone's dragging review of the Johannesburg store to say something like, if the founder of, LV was this uncivilized. That is a very colonial way of looking at a boutique on the African continent. That's not particularly pleasant. However, something which I will say, which I think one must be very careful about this store, is if you are going to visit the Johannesburg Louis Vuitton or the Cape Town Louis Vuitton and you're not from the African continent, do not assume that just because you're from like a Western country that you can outspend the people there. This person probably thought, I'm from the US and I'm going to refill my perfume. They should be happy that I'm coming there to refill my perfume. Generally speaking, they genuinely don't care because there is so much competition in this store, and it's really, really hard to stand out in this store. The store manager was wrong for storming away, but this person also kind of overreacted. It's a perfume refill. I don't know if that warrants you calling France and saying that this needs to be remedied and this and this and this. I think you also need to calm down and, again, make an appointment. I've made an appointment here before, and because I made an appointment, I was seen straight away. Make an appointment. The next one is from the Cartier boutique in Johannesburg at Sandton City. If you don't look like you earn a lot of money, they don't care to help you. The lady was really uninterested to listen to my needs. When someone was looking like she had lots of money, she left me to attend to this lady. How rude. It's very rude. I have to say, it's very rude. I would never be like, this is okay. This isn't okay. And they do this a lot, at luxury stores. They do this thing a lot where they'll dump you for someone who they think has more money. I have noticed that, I'm just checking my AC there. I've noticed that when they do that because they think that you are not going to spend as much, and maybe they want to make a specific amount of money from a client. So they're like, you know what, I'm going to dump this person. I'm going to move on and go to someone else because I think that they're going to spend more money. And it's simply put like that. I definitely think like at the Sandton City boutiques in Johannesburg, you need to look the part, and no person who shops at the African store is going to tell me they go to those boutiques looking a mess. If you say that in these comments, you're lying. They definitely look at how people are dressed in the boutiques on the Diamond Walk. And the Diamond Walk is where Louis Vuitton, Cartier, Dolce, Gucci, Ferragamo, Bulgari, Todd Zegna, Versace. Now Balmain have just entered there as well. That's where all of the girls for the luxury stores in Santon City and Joburg, that's where they are in the Diamond Walk in the shopping center. They definitely expect you to look a certain way. So if you don't look like glamorous and polished, they're definitely going to be like, oh, this person doesn't have any money to spend. The next one is the Cartier boutique in Dubai at the mall, the Dubai Mall atrium. I hate leaving bad reviews. It's very rare that I do, but I have to. But I can't express my disappointment with Cartier enough with this branch. I plan to buy an engagement ring for my partner to propose, and I know that my partner is a huge fan of Cartier. I arrived at the store and was greeted by a host and explained I wanted to look at rings. He told me a gentleman would assist me shortly. I was having a look when I was approached by the SA. He couldn't have made his disappointment clearer. He seemed bored, tired, and almost annoyed that he'd been assigned to me. I can only assume he judged me based on what I was wearing and already written me off as a time waster and maybe not a super big spender. At the time, the store was busy, and it was evident at the same time I walked in, there was a very wealthy Russian couple who were ahead of me and other clients with lots of high end branded shopping bags. He seemed frustrated that he'd got me and that he wasn't the one helping the couple and the other clients because he was totally focused on them, looking over to see what his colleagues were showing them. I felt like he was trying to drive me out. He was giving me short one word responses, yes or no. I asked questions, he shrugs his shoulders. Um, he was fixed on his phone to the point I don't think he even heard me speak. I had to say, quote, hello, excuse me, and wave, and he was giving me attitude. He looked up from his phone, said, no, we don't have this. Again, I'm like, what about this? He shows another photo from his phone. Just reached into a counter and pulled out the wrong ring and said, this is it. I said, sir, this is a totally different ring from the photo I showed you. He, he then looked down on his phone again like I'm invisible. After a few minutes of having to almost beg to see rings and being treated like I'm not worthy of his time, I gave up and said, okay, I'll just leave and go somewhere else. He didn't even react and said bye. He didn't even react or say bye. He just turned around and walked away. This was shocking attitude from Cartier, appalling dismissiveness. He goes on to say he went to Chopard and bought something. This isn't nice. This is not nice. Definitely not nice. But I think we know where he went wrong. He went straight off to work in his uniform. Now, we don't know what his job is. We don't know what he does for a living. I know what you're going to say. It doesn't matter it shouldn't matter. But I think in a location like this where they're probably doing, so much money like every single day, they are definitely looking at the way one is dressed and the kind of image that you're presenting based off the way you're dressed, if that makes sense. So someone coming in after work in their uniform, they're just saying this person doesn't have any money, not understanding that some people might just have saved a ton of money for the like to propose, for example. Um, it's very unpleasant. Even for me, I would say I'm a pretty cynical person and pretty like thick-skinned, but this is not nice. It's not pleasant. The next one is the same location. During a recent visit to Cartier, I encountered a deeply disappointing experience that tarnished the prestige the brand is known for. While finalizing a transaction with my friend, an employee named employee number one, while with this person, I casually lifted up my phone to take a photo of my friend to commemorate the moment. Employee number one, perhaps overwhelmed or simply in bad spirits, abruptly turned to me and said with an unnecessarily rude tone they didn't like being photographed. What was frustrating was I had no intention of capturing employee number one. His reaction was so disproportionate. It was also presumptuous. One expects a certain standard of professionalism and courtesy from a high-end luxury establishment like Cartier. Yet, what I experienced was far from it. It was deeply regrettable when the demeanor of the single employee can quickly undermine a brand's image. In a situation like this, I think that this is also an example of a like luxury cultural misunderstanding. In different cultures, it's considered super rude to take a picture of someone without asking for permission first. Now, obviously, the person says that they were not trying to take a picture of the SA, but the SA might have felt that perhaps that their hand or their arm was going to be in the photo. Um, in Tanzania, for example, if you see Maasais walking around in Dar es Salaam or in Arusha, it's considered super rude to take a picture of them without asking for their permission. And that's because Maasais know when they're wearing their like traditional indigenous outfits, they know that a lot of tourists will take pictures of them, put them on Instagram and put them on Facebook or put them on blogs and websites and will make money from their pictures. So they kind of prefer that you would give them money because they feel like, well, you're taking pictures of me, you're going to put it on your blog, you're going to put it somewhere, you're going to make money from it. I'd like you to give me some money. It's not even considered a tip. It would be considered like giving them money to like model for you so you can take a picture of them. And it's considered very rude for tourists to take pictures of Maasais walking around without asking their permission. And if you've never been to Tanzania or Kenya, you might not know that. Now, being that I'm from Tanzania, I'm just letting people know it's considered very rude not to ask their permission. So I think that this also might be one of those luxury cultural misunderstandings. Maybe for a situation like this, you could, like, the person could have said to her friend, like, hey, I want to take a picture of you, such a special moment. Hey, is it okay with you? Then look at the essay. Is it okay with you if I take a picture of my friend? The essay's going to say it's fine, and then you take the picture. You know, again, luxury cultural misunderstandings. Very unpleasant, very unfortunate. The next one is the Cartier Rue de la Paix boutique, Paris, France. My husband bought me a Cartier engagement ring 10 months ago. She goes on and on and on about Cartier, this and that. It was meant to be a meaningful gift, chosen with love, blah, blah, blah. Less than a year later, I discovered 2 diamonds have fallen out of the ring. I currently live in Shanghai. Immediately went to the local Cartier store to have it inspected. And they told me it was my fault and not a manufacturing defect. They said it was both due to wear and tear, so she calls Paris and Shanghai. Really, after 10 months, which the ring wasn't even worn daily, always carefully handled, never exposed to sports chemicals or any harsh conditions. How can a ring lose diamonds in under a year? We're deeply disappointed, upset, can feel completely let down. Cartier offers champagne when you buy, but if something goes wrong, you're on your own. Never again. I just wanted to share this experience everywhere. Girl, it's your engagement ring. It's easy for you to come on the internet and say you didn't wear your engagement ring every day. Give me a break. I wear my engagement ring every day. I think this year I only took it off when during childbirth. Yeah, when I gave birth to Sinai, that's the only time I took off my ring this year. I wear my engagement ring all the time. I get it cleaned often. Things happen. Sometimes diamonds fall out. Sometimes stones fall out. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Particularly if you wear your engagement ring every day and you essentially are wearing it while you're showering. Maybe if you're cooking, you're baking, you're doing something, you're probably wearing your engagement ring. I don't think it's that far-fetched for periodically, maybe for stones to fall out. Me personally, I don't think it's a big deal. So I think this person has overreacted and being a little bit over dramatic. Wear and tear is real. Wear and tear is real, and you need to kind of own that. The next one is a Bulgari boutique in Rome, in the flagship in Rome in Italy. This is the worst customer service. The store sells Bulgari perfumes, but they don't offer any testers to smell them. One of the 3 employees at the front door recommended I go to a department store half a mile away so I could use a perfume tester. Wow. I recommend that American tourists avoid this store where customers aren't respected. Look, let me tell you something. This is the flagship store for Bulgari in Rome. That's their hometown. They are not trying to have you come up in there asking to try out their perfumes. I still think brands need to stop this behavior of being rude to people asking for small purchases. But at the same time, I feel like we're so far gone now in the whole luxury experiment that I wouldn't go to the flagship Bulgari boutique to try I personally wouldn't go to the flagship Bulgari store to ask for the perfume because I just know that one would be dragged. I remember many dragging episodes that have since passed. I remember featuring a story of someone going to the Seattle Big H store. They wanted to buy lip gloss and a perfume or something like that, and they were dragged. And they were made to feel really bad because they only wanted to buy makeup and fragrance. And it's again, Big H, if you don't want people to buy scarves, you don't want people to buy makeup, why are you making these products? Why? You know what I mean? So on the one hand, I see both sides, but you know me, I never sit on the fence. I personally wouldn't go to the Rome flagship to ask for perfumes. I personally wouldn't, and I would tell people, please don't be like these people. You will be dragged. I mean, you're going to be dragged really hard. I mean, they had someone at the front door to make sure that these people who only want perfumes don't come in and we don't have them near our beautiful Serpentine B01 lines. Get out. The next one is the same location. I didn't have the best experience spending 2,800 euros. The SA had an attitude. I'm assuming they don't work on commission. It was a cold experience. I didn't leave smiling. I was sent off to an area by myself and left alone for quite some time. They eventually offered me a drink when they confirmed I was buying the item. There was no showing or trying on any other items I might be interested in. It was a transactional deal. It was very cold. I had a better experience in Milan with their customer service. Purchased a less expensive item, but was treated lovely and had fun trying on other items while I waited for my item to be settled. This has been my experience in Cartier and Dior, so my expectations were high when I came in. I'm not a celebrity or a known person, which makes it even more disappointing. I would be disappointed if I was their manager, knowing how this is how the store is handled. I think that there are a few things here. And again, 2,800 euros, that's good money. But relative to like what people spend at luxury stores in Europe, 2,800 is not a lot of money. That doesn't mean the person should be dragged and treated badly. They were offered a drink only after they confirmed they were buying. I am telling you now, at least my experience at Cartier last year, even though I know that this is a Bulgari dragging story, like she really wanted to know, like, are you buying something today? And I was so clear with her because maybe she thought I was wasting her time, because I have noticed in some dragging reviews, people will be like, I'm going to buy something, and then they'll want to like throw their weight around and be like, okay, fine, I've changed my mind, I'm not buying anything. You're also just wasting the person's time. I'm not here to waste anyone's time. But this one isn't a pleasant experience, I think, for the person as well, because, you know, they were only offered a drink when they confirmed that they were going to spend. Some people like feeling like they're friends with the SA, and this might be one of those people who wants to feel like it's really fun, because here she says how in Milan it was fun trying on other things while she waited for her item to be settled. It wouldn't have bothered or cost the SA in Rome anything to be like, would you like to try on some of our serpenti? Would you like to see some of this, while they're packaging up her item? But some SAs are just like, I have sold you this, I only want to sell you this, I don't want to show you anything else. And again, that was also a similar experience that I had in Cartier last year at the Champs-Élysées boutique in Paris. Like, I felt like she didn't want to show me other things, and like I felt like she was being kind of annoying about it as well, because I'd be like, can you show me the Pave Love bracelet? No. Not no, but she was taking her, you know, she's really dragging her heels to show it to me. Finally, she showed it to me. The Pave, love ring as well. Okay, cool. In white gold. But it was like she would go and get each piece to show me, versus just being like, can you tell me some of the things you'd like to see, and I can bring them all in one tray. So sometimes I feel like they do that because maybe they want to make you feel embarrassed. Maybe they want to make you feel bad. I don't know. This isn't a pleasant one. I think that this is a good example of someone who wants it to feel fun. I agree. It should feel like fun to spend your money. It shouldn't feel like you're working hard to spend your money. The final dragging one is from the Bulgari boutique in Venice in Italy. Nice welcome. The essays showed us a lot. Initially friendly, but in the end, we just wanted to get out. There was extreme pressure to buy, being asked every minute, do you take this, do you take that? We felt really uncomfortable. The fuss took away my enthusiasm for the Bulgari brand. I think, again, a few things. Just being super, super clear, you are buying today. I've said this before. I remember in an old video, I was like giving some ideas of how I think you can make shopping in Europe and Paris, but Europe as well, more pleasant. And I was telling people, like, just let them know you're buying something today, so that they know that you're not going to like change your mind, and be clear that you're not going to renege. You know, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to, say I'm going to buy something and then not buy something. So it's possible that maybe in this example, maybe they didn't give that confidence to the essay, but it's also possible that the essay is just doing that hard sell. And I feel like when you want someone to stop doing the hard sell, I think just be super clear. I'm buying something today, like, and you can even make it a joke, clean it up a little bit, but you can even make it a joke like, oh, don't worry, I'm here to spend this, I'm here to have a good time and to see what you got, so don't worry, I'm leaving here with something, in my Denzel voice. I'm leaving, in my Denzel Washington voice, I'm leaving here with something. You can make it like a joke, something like that. I think that can also make it a little bit easier for the essay who's giving the hard sell. Because sometimes they do the hard sell because they really want to pressure you to buy. But also, don't discount the amount of people who come into time waste and to look around and not buy. I know that in today's dragging stories, like people were dragged. The client was dragged at the Cartier boutique. This other person was dragged here at the Bulgari boutique and stuff. But the amount of people who come to boutiques and don't buy is something that needs to be studied. We've talked about this before. My tip is when shopping in Europe, browse at the browse. I can't speak. Browse at department stores and then in flagships and also shop in department stores if you want. Department stores have so much traffic of people. They don't care if you're there to look. They don't care if you try on 10 million things. Flagships have these massive targets that they need to hit. You'll have a better experience if you shop at flagships. But again, being super, super clear that you are buying something today. So what do you think about today's dragging stories? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more of this as a playlist, you can save the playlist and then it will just automatically update when there's a new dragging episode. I hope to see you in the new ones that will be coming. I think I can do one a week, give or take, it depends. Sometimes there are other things I want to cover. But just sign up, subscribe to the channel, save the playlist, and also, of course, sign up to the newsletter. That way you don't miss out on anything that's happening, things that are super interesting. The newsletter feels like a safe space for me for the most part. And I would love if you would join us there. And also, my Facebook group is still active. You can sign up for it as well. It is linked below. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. And I'll see you very soon in my next video.